Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radhe Jai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Ashtottara Sat His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Vallabh Ki Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai Ki Jai Shri Siksastakam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahakanda Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahaganda Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we'll chant the Siksastakam prayers again now. We'll chant them all together in order to save time. We already chanted it once yesterday. This is the second day of our discussion on Sri Siksastakam, the 8 verses composed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us chant these verses together. Cheto darpanamarjanam भवमहादावाग्निर्वापणम् श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणम् विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनम् प्रतिपदां पूर्णामृतास्वादनम् सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति स्तत्रार्पिता नियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशमिह जनिनानुरागः तृणादपि सुनेचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानेन मानदेन कीर्तनेया सदा हरिः न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहेतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करम् पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान्मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री शिक्षाष्टकम की जय। Yesterday we began discussion on the first verse of the Siksastakam, and we mentioned that the Harinam Sankirtan movement or the Sankirtan process has how many perfections? 7 perfections. And these perfections are listed in the first verse. So we saw the 7 perfections one by one. The first one, Cheto Darpanamarjanam, it cleanses the mirror of the heart. The second is Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, extinguishes the forest fire of material existence. The third, Shreyah Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, which means it diffuses the moon rays of Bhava Bhakti for the highest good of the soul. The fourth, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. It is a life of all transcendental knowledge. It is a life of the wife named transcendental knowledge or Vidya. So we had talked about these four characteristics or perfections of the Nam Sankirtan, Krishna Nam Sankirtan. So this is where we stopped our discussion yesterday. So today we will go on with the 5th, 6th and 7th perfections, and then we will go to each of the other verses of the Siksastakam and try to complete the discussion within an hour. So the 4th perfection is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, yes, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam increases the ocean of transcendental bliss. Ananda means bliss, Ambudhi means ocean, Vardhanam means to increase. So it expands the ocean of unlimited bliss. Now we have seen that the individual soul or the living entity is very, very tiny. It is only a fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord. What is the dimension of the soul? 1/10,000th of the tip of a hair. Now that is really very, very small. So therefore, the Jivatma or the individual soul is called Anu. Anu means it's very tiny. And what is the Supreme Lord called in contrast? Vibhu, which means very great. So the individual soul is very tiny and the Supreme Lord is very great. Now, when we hear that by doing bhakti or Krishna consciousness, then we get a lot of happiness. So the question may arise, because we are Anu, because we are so tiny, we are small particles, therefore the happiness we experience must also be very, very small. Yeah, the doubt may be raised. After all, we are so small, how can we have something that is so big? So our happiness must also be very, very tiny. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining, no. Even though the individual soul is so tiny, the bliss that the soul feels upon serving Krishna and chanting Krishna's holy names, Nama Sankirtan or Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, is so great. It is so enormous that it is like an ocean. Not just an ocean, it is an expanding ocean. The ocean itself is huge, vast, limitless. Now there is a premise that that aircraft has fallen into the Indian Ocean west of Perth. But now people are realizing the ocean is so big. Searching for an aircraft in such a huge space is really like finding a needle in a haystack. So the ocean, even one small ocean, the Indian Ocean, there are many other oceans. It is so vast. Imagine if you have an ocean that is endlessly expanding. Such is the nature of the ocean of bliss that comes upon the soul when the soul performs Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, the chanting of the holy names. So everyone feels that ecstasy, that happiness. Prahlad Maharaj is, of course, one of our ideals in Krishna consciousness. So there is a book called the Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya, in which Prahlad offers a prayer to the Supreme Lord. And he says, Tvat sakshat karanahlada vishuddhabdhi sthitasya me sukhani goshpadayante brahmanyapi jagadguru. He says, my dear Lord, now that I have personally had your darshan, that I personally see you, tvat sakshat, the ahlada or the bliss that I am experiencing is like an ocean. The word ahlad means bliss, like Prahlad. Yes? Prahlad, the meaning of the name Prahlad means extreme bliss, special form of bliss. Prakrishta rupena ahlada. So that's Prahlada. Prahlada ahlada dayine. So Nrsimhadev is he who gives pleasure to Prahlad. So we sing this every day. So tvat sakshat karanahlada vishuddha abdhi sthitasya me. Abdhi means ocean. So now that I am Prahlad says, now that I have seen you, your beautiful form in front of my eyes, I feel myself situated in an abdhi, in an ocean that is vishuddha, that is spiritual, pure. And upon experiencing this ocean of bliss, then even the happiness of merging into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, Sukhani, Brahmani, that is in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, that appears like Goshpadayante, the space that is contained within the hoof print of a calf. Now a calf is very small. When a calf makes an impression of its foot in the mud, and a little rainwater gathers in that little hoof print, how much water is it? Very little, just so much. Is it difficult to cross over that puddle of water? No. How small is it compared to the vast ocean? Very much smaller. So Prahlad says, even the happiness of merging into that nirakar, that impersonal, is very insignificant compared to the bliss that I am obtaining by doing devotional service to you. So what then to speak of the happiness, or the so-called happiness of this world, the material pleasures of this world? Srila Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu indicates that there are three kinds of happiness. Who can say what are the three kinds of happiness? Eating pizza, eating ice cream, eating rasgulla. Yes? Three kinds of happiness? Yes.
Ananda and praying, but I don't know the middle one.
Sorry?
Ananda,
Ananda.
something, praying.
Yes, but three kinds of happiness, three grades of happiness. Anyone else? Yes.
Happiness of the material enjoyment.
Happiness of material enjoyment. Okay, that's good. That's called bhoga. Then?
Brahmananda.
Brahmananda. What is that? The happiness of merging into the impersonal Brahman. And third? Premananda. Yes. So Premananda means the happiness that is obtained when one develops pure love for Krishna. So of these three, which is the supreme? Premananda. Premananda is like an ocean, and Brahma Sukh, Brahmananda, that is like a water in the hoof print of a calf. And what about Bhogananda, the pleasure of this material world? Rupa Goswami says that's like a drop. So just imagine a drop, a puddle, and an ocean. This is the comparison of three types of happiness. Now take your pick. Which one will you choose? Premananda. So therefore the happiness of chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna and experiencing bliss gives us so much happiness. It's like an ever-expanding ocean. So, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. That's here. Now, the next question may arise. You see, in this material world, when we enjoy happiness, our happiness is punctuated by gaps. Suppose you're eating a very nice prasadam feast, and you've eaten and eaten and eaten, but will you stop eventually? Everyone will stop. Although some people make it feel like they will never stop, but still one day they have to stop. Sometimes devotees have these prasadam honoring competitions. Next, after 2-3 days, they have sleeping competitions. So, material pleasures of all sorts, after some time, cease to give us any happiness. So there are gaps. We enjoy something for a while. Bhog tyag. So Rupa Goswami explains it like that. We enjoy, then we get fed up. Then we say, okay, no more. But then we get fed up of saying no more. Then again we want enjoyment. Then no more. So this is called the cycle of bhog tyag. So there are gaps. So the question arises, all right, this expanding ocean of happiness that exists when we chant the holy name of the Lord may be very great, and it may give us so much happiness, but will there be any gaps in that? That question may arise. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's answer is very clear. Pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. Pratipadam, at every step, purna aswadanam. Complete nectarian taste is available. There are no gaps. It was ever increasing without stop. Ananda. Not ananda tyag, not like that. Incessant, ever expanding, unlimited, gapless bliss. No interruptions in that bliss. So at every step enables one to taste complete nectar at every step. Amrita means nectar. Aswadanam means to taste. Purna means complete. So at every step there is complete taste of the nectar of the holy names of the Lord. It never ceases at any time. This is what Krishna consciousness is all about. The sages who have gathered at Naimisharanya tell Suta Goswami a similar thing. Vayam tunavitrapyama uttama shloka vikrame yachrinvatam rasagyanam svadu pade pade. O great sage Suta Goswami, you have been speaking these wonderful pastimes of Lord Krishna. Please don't stop speaking. Don't think that we will get tired or sleepy or hungry or that we'll get bored. We will hear continuously. Because at every step, svadu pade pade, at every step we are experiencing so much happiness. It is increasing with every step. With every word that you speak, our happiness is increasing because you are speaking about Krishna. So that is the nature of Krishna consciousness. Pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. And then finally the last one, sarvatma snapanam. The question may be asked, all right, we are all in an ocean of bliss. That's agreeable, but is it really pure? Or is there some self-interest involved in this? Because if there is some self-interest, there is some desire that I want to get this happiness, then it may not be so pure. So then he says, no, for everyone, this is like a wonderful bath for the soul. Premananda is completely pure. Literally it means a bathing of the soul in pure Krishna consciousness. So there is no taint, there is no trace of any self-interest in this service. It is completely pure. We all know the story of how Krishna once had a headache. We say, how can God have a headache? Well, sometimes he has headaches because we do all sorts of things, and then Krishna has to have the headaches. So one time Krishna had a headache and everybody tried to find some cure for it, but no one was able to find a medicine. Narad Muni came and Krishna said, you know, Naradji, there's only one cure for my headache. That is, I want the dust from the feet of my devotees. So Narad Muni said, oh my God, how can that be done? Narad Muni, please give me the dust from your lotus feet. Narad Muni shrank back and said, dust from my feet on your head? It's the opposite. We take the dust from your feet on our heads. But how can I give the dust from my feet to your head? So, no, how is that possible? So Krishna told him, now go to the gopis of Vrindavan and you ask them. So Narad Muni went to the gopis and he announced, Krishna has a headache and the only solution for the headache is the dust from the feet of his devotees. So any of you are willing to give the dust from your feet to place on Krishna's head? So all the gopis said, bring the buckets, take as much as you liked. So Narad Muni said, don't you think that you will commit a big offense? You are putting the dust of your feet on Krishna's head? You will go to hell. So the gopis replied, we may go to hell forever, we don't mind. But if by our going to hell eternally, if Krishna can get relief from headache for 1 second, then we are ready for it. So then Narad Muni understood the glory of the love of the Brajavasis. So this love that is being spoken about, the happiness that has been spoken about, is completely a selfless, pure love. Because of these 7 perfections, therefore, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So let there be all glories to the chanting of the holy, congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So this is the first verse. So now we will go on to the second verse. Nam namakari bahudha nija sarva shakti statrarpita niyamitaha smaranena kalaha etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivamidrishamiha Janinanuragaha. My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity, and therefore you have many names, such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls, by liberally teaching your holy names, I am so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. So as we saw yesterday, what is it that is taught in this verse? What is the message from this verse? Realizing one's ineptitude, one's disqualification for actually relishing and chanting the holy names of the Lord. Even though the process is so easy, the Lord has very kindly made it so accessible to every one of us. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, taking a position of extreme humility, says that I am so unqualified, so unfortunate that I am not able to take advantage of Lord Krishna's mercy in the form of his holy names. What to do? Durdaivam. I am so unfortunate. Idrisham iha janina anuragaha. That I commit offenses when I chant the holy names. I have no attachment for the holy names. Even though the holy names are so easy to chant. He says, Nam Nam Akari Bahudha. Nam Nam Akari Bahudha means that Krishna has many, many names. How many names does Krishna have? 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 1 million, 10 million, how many? Unlimited. Because Lord Krishna is unlimited, so he has unlimited names. I remember reading a story as a schoolboy where there are some Tibetan monks. It's a science fiction story. And in their tradition, it seems, it is just a story, it's not a fact, that they say there are 10 billion names of God. And those 10 billion names, the list is compiled and the world will end. So the story goes like that. And then the purpose of the world will come to a close. Then it's done. Then everything will collapse. So we have these 2 monks who go to a computer specialist. And then they ask him to make a program of combining certain words in different alphabets in different ways so you can generate 10 billion names. And it takes a long time. It takes months and years of churning of alphabets in different combinations and so on. And the story goes, finally the number 10 billion is reached, and then the universe becomes dark and everything collapses and finished. So they think that the Lord has only 10 billion names. At least the story says. But does the Lord have 10 billion? Unlimited billion. 10 billion is a very small number for the Lord. Why does he have so many names? In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the last chapter of the book that I was mentioning yesterday, Mahaprabhu says, because devotees have different desires, therefore the Lord takes on different names. There is a series of names, many, many names. Aneka lokir vancha, aneka prakar, kripate korilo, aneka namera prachar. Because people vary in their desires, you have distributed various holy names by your mercy. So very interesting. So the Lord, being very kind, reciprocates with his devotees who have different types of desires. So he manifests himself in different names. Krishna, Govinda, and it's not limited only to one language. So this is a very big misconception in the world. That if something is in one language, then it belongs to one religion. If something is in another language, it's another religion. If something is in Hebrew, it is one religion. Something is in English, another religion. Something is in Arabic, one religion. Something in Sanskrit, yet another religion. But God can have these innumerable names in all these different languages. There's unlimited. Because his devotees are unlimited and they have different kinds of desires. Nija sarva shaktihi. And the Lord has invested all his power in his names. His names are extremely powerful. There is a little story about the Ramayana. It's not there in the Valmiki Ramayana. But anyway, we know the story of how Lord Ram had the bridge built over the ocean. And because it is said that all the monkey soldiers, they wrote Ram, 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 Ram. So because of the power of the name, the stones also floated. One time Vibhishan, the brother of Ravan, sent 2 of his messengers across to Lanka. He said, you take this message and go, and you cross the sea. But you hold, so how can we cross the sea? He said, all right, you just stand at the shore with this little sheet of paper I'm folding up for you. You just hold it there, and the sea will open up for you. But I warn you, don't open this paper. Let it be folded up. So then they proceeded, they were walking, and lo and behold, the whole sea parted ways. In other traditions also, there are such instances where it is said the sea parted ways, but we won't go into that for now. So they were walking, struck with wonder at how the sea had parted itself, and they were walking on the seabed, and they reached half the distance, and the curiosity got the better of them. There's a saying, there's a proverb, curiosity killed the cat. So they were thinking, just little paper is responsible for holding the water away. Let's see what this paper says. The other one said, look, Vibhishan warned you. Don't open that sheet. All right. So they went on. But again they said, come on, what's the harm? We can open it and see. Finally they opened it. And what was there? Ram. Ram? Just Ram? And just with Ram, this water is like this. And the moment they thought that, what happened? And that was the end of the two messengers. So the holy names of the Lord have tremendous potency. Potency equal to that of the Lord, because they are non-different from the Lord. They are identical with the Lord. The name of Krishna is Krishna. This is a very, very important philosophical point in Krishna consciousness. In this world, there is a difference between an object and a word that denotes that object. Let's say I'm hungry, and I see somebody eating, let's say some nice sweet gulab jamun or something. And I say gulab jamun, gulab jamun, gulab jamun. I will not taste that gulab jamun. Because the word gulab jamun is not equal to the object gulab jamun. I have to get the object, put it in the mouth, and then I taste it. So there is a difference here between the word and the object. But in the spiritual world, it's not like that. The name is equal to the object. The object is equal to the name. So when we chant the name Krishna, the person denoted by the name is also simultaneously present. So Srila Prabhupada has explained that when we chant Hare Krishna, we should know that Krishna is dancing on our tongue. He is actually there. This is not something imaginary. But Krishna is actually there. It's only a question of our faith. He will manifest himself to the degree of our faith in this one point. Nama Chintamani is Krishna's, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shuddho, Nitya Mukto, Abhinnatvam Nama Naminoho. So the holy name of the Lord is Chintamani. Chintamani is a touchstone. You can fulfill all your desires with this touchstone. You know what is a touchstone? That you can use it to fulfill anything you like. The word Chinta in Sanskrit means worry. Money means a gem. But if you twist that word slightly to give it the English word money, M-O-N-E-Y, Chinta or worry about money, then that is what is happening today. Because everybody thinks today money is the touchstone. If I have money, I have everything. But the real Chintamani is the holy name of the Lord. Nama Chintamani Krishna's. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is a form. It is a complete form of pure consciousness. So the holy name also has a form. Purna Shuddhaha. It is completely pure. Nitya Muktaha. It is always liberated. Abhinnatvam Nama Naminoho. There is no difference between the name and the owner or the possessor of the name. So Krishna's entire potency is available at our disposal when we simply say Krishna. That is the beauty of this process. Tatra arpita niyamitah, okay, nija sarva shaktihi tatra arpita. That means he has invested the holy names with all his potency. Niyamitah smarane na kalaha. And there are no hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Yes, Srila Prabhupada has given us some hard and fast rules. What are they? We should chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now, has Srila Prabhupada told us we should chant 16 rounds of the Mahamantra? That's right. It's an important word. Minimum. We can chant a minimum of 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. That is just an indication. Actually, we should go on chanting. We should constantly chant all the time, even in our mind. When Srila Prabhupada first went to America, and the first group of devotees were getting initiated, they didn't even know what were the 4 regulative principles. After the initiation was over, Prabhupada told them, okay, now these are the 4 regulative principles you have to follow. And he said, really? Oh, we have to follow this. And then when the discussions for initiation are going on, he said, you should chant 64 rounds every day of the Mahamantra at least. I said, Prabhupada, 64 rounds? It will take us 8 to 10 hours to chant. It's very difficult for us to do that. All right, 32 rounds. But 32 rounds, Prabhupada, is still so much. All right, 16, but no less than 16. That is how the 16 rounds came up. Many times devotees ask, why is there 16? Is it mentioned anywhere in the scriptures that we should chant 16 rounds? So this is the history of how it came up. What is mentioned in the scripture is we must chant constantly, all the time. When you're in trouble, when you are happy, when you're neither in trouble nor happy, at all times you should chant. Because when you're in trouble, you know the trouble will go away after some time. When you're happy, you also know the happiness will also go away after some time. Even the neutral position, you know, will go away after some time. But the holy name is always there, so we should constantly chant. And by your mercy, O Lord, you have made available these names for us, but I am so unfortunate, Mahaprabhu says, that I have no taste for the chanting of the holy names. Rupa Goswami has written a very wonderful prayer in which he begs to Krishna, please give me thousands of tongues and thousands of years. Because with each one tongue is insufficient for me to keep on chanting your names. There's so much nectar in these 2 syllables, Krish and Na, that I find one tongue not enough. I become too greedy. I want more. So please give me many thousands of tongues. And then I also want to hear these names. 2 years are insufficient. So give me thousands of years. This is Rupa Goswami's prayer. We never see the pure devotees asking Krishna for a house by the sea, or a surfing weekend holiday, or some money or something like that. This is the kind of benediction that the pure devotees seek, that they may have taste, anurag, in the chanting of the holy names. So we'll go to the 3rd verse now. In the 3rd verse, this is a very, very important verse, in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us how to chant the holy names of the Lord, the procedure of the holy name of the Lord. Trinadapi sunechena tarorapya sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada harihi. One who thinks himself or herself, by the way, lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy names of the Lord. Now, this one verse, among all the verses, is considered the essence of everything in existence. Kaviraj Goswami elsewhere says that this one verse, if the devotee wears it in the form of a necklace around his neck, he should wear it around his neck as a necklace. And that is the perfection of his life. If he just follows this one verse, his life will be perfect. Nothing more required than this one verse. But what it seems to demand from us is something really maybe difficult. First of all, you have to be humbler than a blade of grass. If that were not bad enough, we are asked to become more tolerant than a tree, and to add to the difficulty that we are asked to not seek any honor for oneself, and the final blow that you have to give respect to others, all respect to others. You know, there was a poet one time. He was not a devotee, but he had heard about devotees of Krishna. So he came to the association of devotees and he met them, and then after some time of coming in contact with devotees, he wrote a poem. And in that poem there was one verse. He was a Bengali poet. And I'll give you the translation. He said, for a long time I had a desire to associate with the devotees of Krishna, because I heard that Krishna consciousness was so nice. So I associated with them. But then I heard this Trinadapi Sunechena Shloka and I said, forget it. It's not for me. Being humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, and so on and so forth. Too much, too difficult for me. Yes, confirmed. So these are the four principles. Since there's so much importance being given to the chanting of the holy names, what is required for us to be able to do it constantly? What do we need to do to be able to constantly chant the holy names of the Lord? These are the four essential requirements. A blade of grass doesn't protest. It's always in a lowly position. We stomp all over the grass. And you see, sometimes you may have something that you put down and it comes up again. Yes, you pull down a branch, it comes up again. But the grass, when you put it down, it remains like that. So humbler than a blade of grass. That's the quality of the soul. More tolerant than a tree. Mahaprabhu speaks about the qualities of the grass and the qualities of the tree. He says, I'll just chant these verses. Uttama hona apana ke mane trinodham dui prakare sahishnuta kore vrikshasam. These are the symptoms of one who chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Although he is very exalted, he thinks himself lower than the grass on the ground. And like a tree, he tolerates everything in two ways. So he gives the two qualities of the tree in the next verse. Vriksha jano katileha kichu na bolai Shukana mahile kare pani namagai. When a tree is cut down, it does not protest. And even when drying up, it does not ask anyone for water. Jai Jai Magai Tare De Apanadhan Gharma Brishti Sahe Aner Karai Rakshan. The tree delivers its fruits, flowers, and whatever it possesses to anyone and everyone. It tolerates scorching heat and torrents of rain, yet it still gives itself. It gives shelter to others. So these are the qualities of the tree, of any tree. So true Vaishnava is like this. Is always willing to give shelter to others, to share his or her life for others, for the welfare of others. A Vaishnava is never selfish. I, me and mine, only for me. No. A true devotee of Krishna is ever willing to give himself or herself up for the welfare and the good of others. And just like a tree, even if it means tolerating great inconvenience for oneself, the tree does so. Similarly, a great Vaishnava does. Also, another aspect is the devotee doesn't protest when he or she is put through difficulty, just like Haridas Thakur. He was whipped in the marketplace 21 times, 21 marketplaces. But he never protested. And Krishna protected him. So Krishna actually took the blows on his own back. So much so that Haridas Thakur finally had to pray to Krishna to protect the soldiers who were beating him, because the soldiers were afraid that this man is not dying and the king is going to punish us. So he prayed, "Oh Lord, please protect them." So then he went into a trance of being breathless, without any breathing, and the soldiers thought he was dead and they threw him in the Ganges river. He floated down for a while, got up after a while from the Ganges and walked back to the king's court. And the king at that time recognized that he was actually a great devotee of Krishna. Similarly, amanina manadena, not seeking honor and respect for oneself. That is so hard. In this world, everyone likes to take credit, especially for things they haven't done. For things that we have done, it's a terrible blow if we don't get credit for it. But we also hanker for credit for things we haven't done. But the karmic reaction for that is that you will also get blamed for what you haven't done. That's very painful. It's painful to get criticized or blamed for something we have done. So you can imagine how painful it is when we are blamed for something we haven't done. So a devotee of the Lord never wants to take credit for anything, always wants to give credit to others, always willing to, never wanting to take any respect for himself or herself. This is the natural humility of a devotee. And therefore is also willing to give respect to others. We cannot give respect to others to the degree that we seek it for ourselves. If I am seeking fame and name and respect for myself, then how will I be able to give respect to others? On the contrary, I will become very jealous or envious of another person who gets some respect or name or fame. So these four qualities are the jewels, the four jewel-like qualities that adorn the character of a pure devotee of Krishna. So one who has these four qualities in Krishna consciousness can constantly chant the holy names of the Lord. So this is a very, very important verse. Now we'll go to the next one, the fourth verse, in which Mahaprabhu will tell us how we can get rid of our detrimental material desires. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhaktirahetu ki tvai. O Lord of the universe, I do not desire material wealth, materialistic followers, a beautiful wife, or fruitive activities described in flowery language. All I want, life after life, is unmotivated devotional service to you. This is the standard of real prayer. You see, it needs knowledge. It needs training to even know what to pray and how to pray. Otherwise, we may approach the Lord and ask for something that is really not worthy of being asked of the Lord, something that is foolish. There is a story of this, which Prabhupada said one time. There was one old lady, very poor lady. She used to live in a village, and she had nobody else to look after her. And all her life she worked very hard to eke out a very modest livelihood. She would go to the forest, she would cut pieces of wood or just pick up dead wood that had fallen in the forest. She would tie it in a bundle, put it on her head, and then go to the marketplace and sell it. Because people would like some firewood, so they would purchase it from her. So as she became old, she found it difficult to do this. But she had to have a livelihood, so she would do it with great struggle. So then one day she was carrying it with great difficulty. Somehow the bundle of sticks fell down. And what happened? All of a sudden, lo and behold, God appeared before her. And he said, "My dear lady, what do you want? I can fulfill any desire of yours. Tell me, what do you wish?" So her prayer to the Lord was, "Oh, please place the bundle of sticks on my head once again. I can't bend down." Do you get the point? What is the point? What to pray to the Lord? She could have asked him, "Please give me complete relief from all pain, from all misery, so that I don't have to do this struggle, going to the forest every day, carrying this bundle of sticks on my head." But because she was just programmed into thinking in a certain way, she couldn't think out of the box, so to speak. So similarly, people approach the Lord, "Please give me a little wealth, please give me a little enjoyment, please give me this higher position, please teach a lesson to that one." And then this one, who spoke harshly to me the other day. When you look at it in the larger scheme of things, it's so petty what we ask from the Lord. We need not even ask the Lord for our maintenance and our food. Why should we? The Lord has our interest at heart even more than we do. Isn't the Lord looking after the interests of the elephants and the ants? Isn't He feeding the atheists? So why will He not feed His devotees? Some of you have very small children. How many of you have very small children? Maybe 3, 4 years old, or 5 years old? Raise your hand. Okay. Has your child ever come and asked you, "Oh mother or father, will you feed me tomorrow or will you leave me hungry?" Has your child ever come and asked you that? Never. Why? Because the child knows he or she doesn't have to worry about it. Mother and father will take care of me. That's faith, that's surrender, that's shelter. The child has taken complete shelter of you. So it's your worry now to see that you can feed him properly. The child doesn't have to worry. So similarly, as devotees, once we surrender to Krishna, not that we want to give any burden to Krishna, the devotee doesn't like that. But when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will take care of all these things. We should ask for things that are really meaningful, that are of some substance and value, that will give us the real precious things in life. So when it comes to the Lord, we should know what to ask. Now you're building a big kitchen here, yes? Costing more than, I think, 2 million. How much? How much is it going to cost? A lot of money. 1.5 million dollars. That's a lot of money. And suppose a very wealthy person comes along who's a billionaire and he likes all of the devotees here and he says, okay, he opens up his checkbook and says, I have billions of dollars in my bank account. I can give you anything. Tell me, what do you want? Can you give us a donation of 50 cents? You say, what? I'm here with a blank checkbook, I'm willing to give you anything you ask for. You have such a nice project. And now you're asking for 50 cents? He may give it, but you could have asked for anything and he would have given it. So we ask the Lord for some petty thing, some temporary pleasure, some temporary attainment, when we could be asking for something that is priceless. What is it that is priceless? Service to His lotus feet. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking here. Bhavatat bhaktir ahituki tvai, causeless devotional service to you, unmotivated. Unmotivated means that we don't have any material desires, no selfish desires in the service to the Lord. The principal characteristic of devotional service, Srila Rupa Goswami says, that it is done with an attitude to please the Lord. The secondary characteristic is that it is free of all material desires. So ordinary devotional service is characterized by the fact that it is done with an intention to please Krishna. But what differentiates ordinary devotional service from pure devotional service is that it is done without any intention to benefit oneself materially. For example, somebody may do some service to please Krishna because he wants some money. Krishna, I want to do whatever is there to please you and I will do anything, but please give me money in return for that. So you come into the first category of devotional service, ordinary category. But when we come to Krishna saying, I want to please you for no reason except your pleasure. I do not want anything material from you, my Lord. I just seek the opportunity to serve you for 1 minute, 1 hour, lifelong, life after life, janmani janmani, birth after birth. That means the devotee doesn't even seek liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Eternally, let me be here. All I want is service to you, my Lord. This is real Krishna consciousness. This is pure devotional service. So what then to speak of the other things of this world? Some wealth and some followers and material enjoyments of this world. I don't want that at all. So this is the standard of prayer that he's setting here and teaching us how to rid oneself of these detrimental material desires. So we'll go to the next verse, which is text 5, where Mahaprabhu teaches us about the soul's original spiritual identity. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. O my Lord, O Krishna, son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servant. But because of my own fruitive acts, I have fallen into this horrible ocean of nescience. Now please be causelessly merciful to me. Consider me a particle of dust at your lotus feet. Yes. So what is our eternal position? We are the servants of Krishna. Eternally. So to be servant in the spiritual world is a glorious thing. To be a servant here in the material world is considered a despicable thing. Very lowly thing. Oh, you're a servant. When you say, who are you? I'm a servant. Oh, really, a servant. But if you say, I'm a master, oh, that's very good. But in the spiritual world, nobody wants to be the master, not even Krishna. Everybody wants to be the servant. This is what it takes to attain to the spiritual world. Wanting to be master is a sure disqualification. So we are the eternal servants of Krishna, and Mahaprabhu is playing, please place me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet. That's all I am. A little particle of dust, and I'll be happy being there. Not that I want to be the one who's right next to you and in the photograph to be the one right there. Wherever you are, just end up so I'll be there. No, I can be there in the background, just a speck of dust. I don't mind. I just want service. So also in devotional service, we have many devotees who do beautiful service in the background. Nobody even knows about them. But without them, services can't go on. But they're so humble. They don't seek recognition. They don't seek to be acknowledged for their wonderful services. They're just happy to be there in the background and serve very simply. Because this is our eternal position. So I'll have to move a little faster because we have only 10 minutes. All right, so we'll go to the next verse now, where Mahaprabhu is speaking about how one experiences the good fortune of coming closer to the Lord. Nayanam galadashrudharaya vadanam gadgadarudhaya gira pulakair nichitam vapoh kada tava nama bhrane bhavishyati. My dear Lord, when will my eyes be beautified by filling with tears that constantly glide down as I chant your holy name? When will my voice falter and all the hairs on my body stand erect in transcendental happiness as I chant your holy name? Now we reach the stage of Bhava Bhakti. You remember this term from yesterday? Bhava Bhakti. There's Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So Bhava Bhakti is the penultimate stage of perfection, just before the budding stage. This is the stage where, as I mentioned yesterday, the devotee is qualified to see the Lord face to face. This is the stage when these ecstatic symptoms of love manifest in the person of a devotee. Like, for example, crying torrents of tears of ecstasy, or the hair standing on end, or the voice faltering, and so on, when the holy name is being chanted. Now, we have to be careful, because these symptoms can come otherwise too. You're walking down a dark lane and you see someone coming to mug you, your hairs may stand on end, and but that doesn't mean you're automatically in Bhava Bhakti stage. There are some people who naturally have very moist eyes, or some people cry very easily. It doesn't mean that they've become pure devotees because they're crying. So any sort of tears are not what is talked about here. In Haridas Thakur's life, there is this episode that he was walking by. And in India, you have these snake charmers. Of course, you don't see them in Australia. Snakes are not very charming here. But you have these snake charmers who play a certain musical instrument, and they have a snake in a little bag, and the snake comes up and he sways and he dances to the tune of the musical instrument. So he controls the snake by playing that instrument. And this snake charmer was not only playing the instrument, but he was also singing some song about Kaliya, the great big snake whom Krishna subdued in his Vrindavan Leela. Haridas Thakur happened to be passing by. So he heard the descriptions of Kaliya, he saw this snake, and immediately remembered Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, and he swooned in ecstasy and fell down to the ground. And all these symptoms of ecstasy started manifesting in his body. And everyone fell at his feet. Oh, what a great devotee he is. And Haridas Thakur became very embarrassed when he understood what was happening. Immediately got up and walked away. A pure devotee never likes to be recognized in this way. Runs away from fame and adoration and distinction. Meanwhile, there was another man standing there. He said, this is a good way to get some recognition. He was not a devotee. So he also fell down to the ground and started making all sorts of noises and crying. And then the snake charmer took his stick and began to soundly thrash him. And the man was howling in pain. He said, why are you beating me? So when Haridas Thakur was doing the same thing, all of you were glorifying him and touching his feet. And when I'm doing the same thing, you're beating me with a stick. He said, that's because you're an imposter. Haridas Thakur's tears were genuine. You're just trying to imitate him for the sake of some name and fame of this world. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that false tears, immature tears, ordinary material tears, which do not come from genuine, pure devotion to the Lord, such tears wash away the Vedic conclusions. So we are not here, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not here to teach us some false emotions. This is not just some mundane, sentimental path. This can come only at a very, very exalted stage. It is not something that can be imitated. But we hear from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this is the symptom, or these are the symptoms of one in that stage of chanting the holy names. Each of these verses are so wonderful that one can discuss this for a long time because each of them is very nice. But time doesn't permit us now. Can we go to the next one, please? And now, Mahaprabhu will teach us the mood of separation after one obtains the required spiritual elevation. This mood of separation is what Mahaprabhu has come to teach us here. Mood of separation from Krishna. We feel separation. We feel separation because there is love. You only miss someone whom you love. Otherwise, out of sight, out of mind. But where there is love, absence makes the heart, or distance makes the heart grow fonder. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to teach us not just ordinary love of God. He has come to teach us love of God in separation. Just like the Brajabasis, especially the Gopis, loved Krishna in separation after he left Vrindavan to go to Mathura. That is precisely the mood that Mahaprabhu has come to teach us. This is the mood in which he wants us to love Krishna. So let us chant this verse. Yugahitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam Govinda virahena me. My Lord Govinda, because of separation from you, I consider even a moment a great millennium. Tears flow from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I see the entire world as void. Yuga. Yuga means an age, or it could mean 12 years also. So even a moment, nimesha, even a moment seems like a long time when I cannot see you, O Krishna. Chakshusha pravrishayitam, and then there's torrents of tears coming from my eyes in separation. Shunyayitam jagat sarvam, the whole world seems zero, it seems a void, it seems meaningless. Govinda virahena me. In separation from you, O Govinda, the entire world is zero, is a void. This sense of separation is what we aspire for. When will that day come when we will be also able to feel that sense of separation from Lord Krishna in the way that Mahaprabhu is teaching us in this verse? This is also the stage of Prema Bhakti, the highest stage now. And Mahaprabhu will complete his Siksastakam with the next verse, where he will conclude about the highest stage of Prema Bhakti. The next verse, please. Ashlishya va padaratam pinashtuma adarshanan marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadhatulam pato mat prananathastu sa eva na paraha. Let Krishna tritely embrace this maidservant who has fallen at his lotus feet, or let him trample me or break my heart by never being visible to me. He is a debauchee after all, and can do whatever he likes, but still he alone and no one else is the worshipable Lord of my heart. Now this could be misunderstood, but it should not be misunderstood. This is spoken personally by Srimati Radharani, Kaviraj Goswami says, to her Gopi friends. It exhibits the highest pinnacle of Krishna Prem, which is completely unconditional love. We have no expectations from Krishna. We will simply serve him for his pleasure, without any expectations. We don't even seek happiness. We only want Krishna's happiness. Of course, Krishna is always happy. He is Atmaram, always satisfied. But the devotee never seeks anything more than this. So this is the highest stage of Prema Bhakti. So starting from the beginning, all the way up, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought us to the level of Prema Bhakti. Shri Shri Siksastakam ki jai. So let us every day chant these beautiful prayers, reflect on their meaning, and try to imbibe the spirit in our devotional life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Sorry there is no time for questions, but we have Arati now. And we'll have some kirtan. We'll actually put it in practice. Let's have Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Hare Krishna.